On my take tonight, the visuals of the day in the media of the past few days can leave one with mixed feelings. I'm talking about the dramatic, highly publicized and seemingly well-choreographed arrests of high-profile entrepreneurs who are then equally dramatically hauled into courts, ostensibly for tax evasion. Two things here. First, all are equal before the law, and tax evasion should attract the same course of action to all, regardless of status. Secondly, is a question. Are the dramatic arrests the only available means of collecting taxes? I want to suppose that there are countless questions tonight on whether established entities that include large-scale manufacturing industries actually reduce themselves to tax-evading fugitives, leaving their directors at the mercy of crime-busting flying squad units. Some will also ask questions on whether all the steps of tax collection procedures failed, necessitating the law enforcement approach reserved mostly for hardcore criminals. Yet others have questioned the fate of hundreds of employees who tonight man the factories as the owners spend the night in police custody, awaiting what is now a predictable routine of charge, grant bail, release, and relax. But this whole saga rings of irony in my mind. And as we've discussed on the show tonight, there's an unholy trinity between all the big players in this country that makes one wonder whether there is more to this than meets the eye. Money, power, politics, and corporate Kenya have always been entwined in ways that we may never fully understand. So let's go down memory lane, shall we? The year is 2017, and it's just before the election. An entity was formed known as the Friends of Jubilee Foundation. Remember that? It included the who's who in Kenya government and business circles. From civil servants, such as the then KRA boss, John Jiraini, to Energy PS Joseph Njoroge, and on to businessmen such as Paul Ndungu of the tax-questioning sport pesa betting industry. No protestations from the Law Society of Kenya and the Ombudsman about the obvious conflict of interest would deter them from meeting and raising funds in what was reported to be a staggering 1 billion shillings in just a few hours. The irony of the warning from the president to not expect favors from him after he wins his second term in office. The irony of the head of the KRA at a fundraiser for a political candidate. The irony of him and a sports betting company official, who's now indicted for tax evasion, being in the same room at the same time and raising funds. The irony that this alleged tax evasion took place during his tenure. The irony that this whole unholy trinity between corporate Kenya, politics and civil service was raising funds for a political campaign, but was supposed to, quote, alleviate poverty. Lest we forget, election campaign funding in this country has been linked to major scandals in the past. Here's another irony of this whole affair, and that is that the former KRA boss, who claims that he attended the fundraiser in his personal capacity and not as a government official, attended this political campaign fundraiser event, whose aim, as we said, was to alleviate poverty, and yet under whose watch billions of shillings were allegedly lost in tax evasion, and that some of those who attended the same fundraiser headed tax betting firms that have now been indicted over the very same issue. This is why it's very difficult for me to form an opinion about the dramatic arrests of businessmen over tax evasion. But that's just my preliminary take. Karma, yes, that karma, probably works or walks along Haile Selassie Avenue here in Nairobi. You just never know. That is my take tonight.